Hey guys, how's it going? James here from Audio.etc. It's finally time to start putting some stuff into duty. Today I'm going to be trying to get some speaker wires, RCAs, remote wire and punch level control wire ran. That way once all that stuff is done I can start looking at actually installing the gear into the car. It's nearly 1 o'clock today, so depending on how many more interruptions I have this afternoon I may or may not get it done. But let me just move my GoPro case. In case you haven't seen my most recent videos, let me just explain real quickly what actually is going into the car. Front speakers Focal PS165FX, back speakers PC165F. I'm sound deadening all the doors and other parts of the car. I'm installing my Rockford Fosgate T1000 X5AD, so it's a really small micro amplifier but it puts out 1000 watts RMS. And then I've got my remote wires, not remote, my RCAs and my speaker wires and everything in there. Where this amp is going, let me show you real quick. Get this shit out of the way. I need to take this cargo tray out anyway. There we go. This just pulls out. They're under there for now. So if you watched my last video, and I know I did a pretty poor job of explaining how the amplifier is going to mount because it was raining and I didn't really feel like going out to the car and showing you guys what it's going to do in the rain. Basically this panel here, which actually like does pop up and off and stuff with foam under it, this amplifier is going to be essentially flush mounted into it around about there somewhere. So there's going to be a hole in here, this is going to be sticking up through it only just slightly and you'll see it basically there, and then the crossovers for the front speakers are going to be on the left hand side here. I may or may not put a piece of clear acrylic over it to protect it. I'll assess that when I come to install it, whether I think it's going to look good or not. I feel like it might just look a bit better bare, but we'll see what happens when I come to do that. So that's the amplifier real quick. So this is where I essentially need to run all my RCAs and speaker wires and everything too, which are all Monster wires. So I've got my Monster RCAs, Monster speaker wires. I need to figure out which speaker wires are the right lengths to go where, since these are pre-cut, and lay them out and figure out what's going to go to what door and this and that. And then I can loom up my RCAs, my PLC2 wire, which is this thing here. The other thing I want to do today, if I get time, is install my power distribution block. I would like to go for the 3-fuse one, which is this one here. It's a bit bigger, but it depends on whether or not it's going to fit in the location that I like. So if it doesn't fit, I might just have to go for the 2-fuse one, but we'll see what I do there as well. So that's if I get time. This is the PLC2, which basically controls the subwoofer output of the amplifier, and I need to run the remote cable of that with the RCAs and everything. So I think the first job is probably going to be to loom all that up. I think what I will do is I will loom the remote wire with the RCAs and this to begin with, and if for some bizarre reason I discover I'm picking up a tiny bit of noise off it, I doubt I will because these are really good RCAs, but if I do, then I can always just run another remote wire later on in a different location. But if it works the first time around, then great. So I'm going to loom this stuff up now. The other thing I should mention, if you didn't see my last video, is that these RCAs are second hand, which I'm not too bothered by for the fact that they are, I've tested them all, so I know that all of them work and aren't broken or anything like that. The only real way you can tell they're second hand is that they've got a bit of gunge and stuff around the heads, but they're clean enough. And I tested the impedance of every single core in these, and every single RCA shield and core has a stable impedance of 0.6 ohms. So they're still very good quality. The fact that they're second hand isn't bothering me much. So yeah, here's my PLC2 wire, my remote wire, RCAs, and we'll loom all these up. Okay, so I got the whole thing loomed up. As you can see, there's a whole lot more remote wire sticking out this end. The reason for that is because I don't know if you noticed, but I had to account for the length that the little RCA adapters put on these little things here that connect into the amp. And then the other thing I encountered was when I got to the end, I found out that these RCAs are a lot longer than I realized they were. So the RCAs actually come out a lot longer than everything else does. So I'll probably just have to find a place to bundle the rest of that when it gets to the end. I want this PLC2 cord to actually come to somewhere around the center here where I want to put the knob. And obviously the RCAs are up that end. So now that that's done, I'll recoil it and start looking at the speaker wires, I think. Okay, so I've laid out my wire and I've figured out what I'm going to do with what. I've got a piece here which is long enough to be cut in half and go from the right side of the boot with the amp is across to the front crossovers. And then I've got my longest piece from a front woofer, since it has to go from the back left side of the car to the front right. Then I've got my front left speaker wire. The next longest one is the rear left because it has to go from the right side of the car to the left, and then the rear right being the shortest. So what I need to decide is whether I'm going to try and run them along the floor or inside the head lining. Depends on what the shortest possible route is. I don't know what the shortest. I think the shortest possible route is actually going to be along the floor, since all the grommets for the speakers and everything are going to be down on the floor-ish sort of area rather than going up and back down again. So I'll probably try and go down the right. Hence, yeah, so I'm going to have to take both sides off, run them along the floor. And the RCAs, let's see how long these are in comparison to the wires. The RCAs do have a wee bit of length over the speaker wires. That's where the front right speaker wire stops and the RCAs keep going. But I don't know if that means it's going to be enough to go all the way to the head lining, because I have to go back down into the center from a PLC2. It actually kind of depends on what side has more loom in it. I'm not sure which is going to have less, because I know I've run my main power wire down the left hand side, but I guess I need to take off these trims and have a look at what's in there. Okay, so it looks like there's a whole lot of wiring running along the top of the shut, but nothing along the actual floor, so that could be a good place to run my RCAs. There's fuel lines down there, but that's not a problem because they don't put off any noise. So I could run my RCAs and speaker wires along the floor inside there. I think would be a good place. And then I could do the same on the other side, but I'm not sure where I'll put the speaker wires, given I've already put a power wire in there. We'll figure it out. I think I might try and do this side first. So I guess rather than overthinking it at all, I think I should just sort of start plumbing. Just start coming out of this corner, running down the right hand side as best as I can. And I might do the front right wire at the same time, but that's going to duck across the back into there. Cool. Okay guys, so I had to stop to do an install on a customer's car, but then while I was doing that I realised that I hadn't really run tweeter wires, so I pulled all my speaker wire back out through to the front for the front speakers that I'd run anyway, and I've redone the RCAs a bit better this time round. Like, I've put a bit more effort into them, I unbolted the seat and everything like that. I wasn't able to get them under that rail there is a gap down below it, but man, it looks real tiny, and it's not the thickness of the cable that's the issue. It's getting all these heads and everything through that I was a wee bit scared of, so I didn't try that. But I did manage to get it underneath this rail here, right down in the corner, and the whole way along it's clipped into these factory sort of, I don't know if you guys can see that, but there's a clip there. There's these clips all the way along that were free, so I'm able to clip this whole loom the whole way along the car. The only thing it does is it does have to go over that rail there, but that's not too much of an issue. Now I can run that across and up, and I'll do the speaker wires next. So now, speaker wires. What I think I'm going to do this time round is gently lay a piece of 16 gauge up to where the tweeter is going to be, cut it, pull it all the way back out, and then I can measure up how long I need my 12 gauge for the woofer to be, because I think I'm going to have to extend a couple pieces for the front right and the rear left possibly, because I mean I do have some spare of the cable sitting around, but I don't think they're going to reach all the way amp to speaker. But as long as they do solder joints, it'll be fine having a connection in it. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'll go back to the time lapse now. I just thought I'd show you the interrupt with how I managed to get the RCAs going around this sort of area. So I'll hop back on a time lapse and try and get all these speaker wires run to these sort of respective areas. I haven't got them going like into the doors yet, just sort of going to the kick panels and the B pillar here for the rear ones. And I'll check back in with you guys once I've got that done, and I'll probably also in the same time get the panel off the stereo and get those RCAs up into the cavity there. So I'll catch you in a bit. Okay guys, so where I'm at now, I'm pretty much closing up. The GoPro just ran out of battery, so I had to recharge it real quick. While I was doing that, I finished off where I was with the driver's door, and I sort of just tidied up the whole boot area. I looked at a couple of fuse options and I sort of tucked the wires away. It took a wee while to get them all in positions where the panels still went back together. Obviously once I start taking out some of that foam below, it'll be much easier. But for now, I've just sort of got it all tucked away and I can put the floor mat thing back in. So yeah, I'm pretty much done for the day. I haven't put the back seat back in yet because I just wanted to show you guys real quick what I've done back here. All the speaker wire is routed and it's like duct taped down in position, and it's routed, along the base of the floor, both sides. The second time around I put a lot more effort into it, lifted the carpet up, really high to get it down under the tracks and stuff like that. But yeah, anyway, I got all the speaker wires done. The woofer wires are all through the grommets and in the doors. I did have to extend 3 of them. The only one I didn't have to extend was the rear right. Oh, and I also had to extend the front left tweeter because I ran out of that 16 gauge wire I had. So I just extended that a wee bit. It is a wee bit annoying knowing that I have a solder joint in the line, but like solder is really conductive and I'm confident of the connection. So it's annoying knowing that it's, a made up piece and not all one piece of wire, but I honestly don't think it's going to affect its performance whatsoever. So yeah, all the woofer wires are ran, the tweeter wires are just bundled up in the kick panels, the RCAs are ran. Oh, also I got the stereo panel off and got up into the stereo cavity. RCAs are ran, the remote wire is ran, and the PLC2 cable thing is ran as well. So that's what I got done today. I'm not sure what I'm going to do tomorrow. Hopefully I get some time to work on it. My next video I'll probably be tackling the fuse holder that I need to do, the little 2 fuse holders, something in here, and getting the 0 gauge into it. And I'll also probably start looking at where I'm actually going to put the amplifier in this location here. If I didn't explain it clear enough before, basically there's going to be a hole cut out of this panel here, and the woofer, the amplifier is going to sort of just fit through the hole, not too tall, like just level with it, possibly a wee bit lower actually. But the idea is that it's all going to be on display. The crossovers will be on this side here and they'll be in the same layout. So yeah, thanks for watching this video guys. Hope you're enjoying it. I hope you're keen to I'm finally getting some sound gear put in this car. It's taken me so long to get around to doing. I've just been distracted with so many other projects like lighting and also not having the funds, not having the money at the time, and just procrastination and things. But I'm excited because I'm finally getting around to doing it. So thanks for watching this video. Remember, you can find me on Facebook. I'm at Audio.etc, and also you can support my channel on Patreon. Just patreon.com/CarAudioETC. Give the video a like if you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Choose to be happy, and I'll catch you in the next video. Ka kite anō.